In Galatians chapter 4, verses 8 through 11, we read Paul's words, "Formerly, when you did not know God, you were enslaved to those that by nature are not God's. But now that you have come to know God, or rather, to be known by God, how can you turn back again to the weak and worthless elementary principles of the world, whose slaves you want to be once more? You observe days and months and seasons and years. I'm afraid I may have labored over you in vain." You know, it's Christmas time. It's a time where we exchange gifts. Most of us can think back to the time when we received the perfect gift from someone. Normally it was in childhood. One that still sticks in my mind is when I received a new surf fishing reel. My dad had introduced my brother and I to surf fishing at a young age. Our first rods and reels were pretty much low end. The reels especially were pretty junky. And we longed for the state-of-the-art fishing reel. At that time, they were the Rumier fishing reel. That was what everybody wanted. And then one Christmas morning, my brother and I unwrapped our gifts, and we saw the box. It had Rumier printed on the outside. We, of course, opened the box and we gazed at the reel. We took it out and began to turn the handle and experience its performance. We imagined going to the surf and hooking up to that big striped bass that we always wanted to catch. We could not wait for the fishing season to reopen in March. What did we do with these reels when the season opened? Well, we used them, of course, and we never put them aside for the old junky reels. We never took those old junky reels back up again and used them. In fact, I still have the reel today, that Rumier reel that I received some 60 years ago. Now here Paul pondered a great question with the Galatians. And I'll read this verse again, verse 9 from chapter 4. It says, "But now that you have come to know God, or rather be known by God, how can you turn back again to the weak and worthless elementary principles of the world, whose slaves you want to be once more?" God had granted to them the greatest gift that one could ever receive. Why, after receiving the greatest gift, the gift of salvation, would they ever want to return to their former ways? Why would they want to return to the elementary principles of the world? Why would they want to put away the gift of life and freedom and pick back up the system that offered no real hope and only made them slaves to a weak and worthless system? Why would they want to go back to a works-based system? Today, I'm afraid that many have or are teetering with the same decision that the Galatians had. Some have truly experienced salvation, and others are just seeking, who are in churches today. But how are those who are truly saved teetering on the same problem that the Galatians were? Well, one great problem is that many are caught up in churches that heap burdens on people. It goes like this: if you want to be approved by God, you must do this, that, or the other thing. So people, even those who are believers, who have received the gift of eternal life, go on a frantic, restless, and impossible effort to gain God's approval through human effort. They add works to grace. We must remember that believers are approved by God, not on the basis of their works, but on the basis of the finished work that Jesus Christ has done for them when he died on the cross to pay the penalty of their sin. You see, he has saved the believer and is in them by his Spirit to complete his sanctifying work. So don't put aside this gift of eternal life and go back to an old, weak, and worthless system of works to gain God's approval. Realize that you are secure in your salvation because of the work of Jesus on the cross. Also realize that by grace, through faith, you have already gained his approval. Learn to rest in your relationship with Jesus and experience the joy of your salvation. Draw close to him and learn from him, and then you will find true rest for your souls.